What's going on, guys? Cole here, and this is like my third time trying to make this video because people kept calling me or knocking on the door or this and that, all kinds of stuff interrupting this video. This video is going to be about how to have a successful career in the infantry, okay? Most of this stuff is going to fall under the umbrella of mindset and realizing that the Army is 100% what you make it, and worrying about only the things that you can control, okay? That's what all this stuff boils down to, really. And a lot of things you're not going to be able to control in the military. You're at the disposal and at the mercy of your unit, and I understand that. Trust me, I understand that. But at the same time, your attitude, like I said, just your mindset in general is going to have a great impact on whether or not you have a good time in the infantry. The infantry is a very high-strung, high-stress, fast, and at the same time very slow-paced job that is not for everybody. And for if you're a new guy or new girl now that women are in the infantry, if you're new, like a cherry new guy, this is going to be the video for you, especially if you're really motivated and you think this might be a career path for you potentially. The things that I'm going to tell you to do, I highly encourage you to do very early on in your career, because it will allow you to coast for the rest of your career and you won't be worried about constantly trying to prove yourself. Okay, so with that being said, let's get right into it. So again, like I said, the first thing is just only worry about things you can control, okay? And that means not comparing your time in the military, your career path, your trajectory, your timeline. Don't compare it to anybody else. This is a thing that I've had to come to grips with because my promotion rate has been a lot slower than a lot of my friends, and a lot of the guys that came in way after me have actually surpassed me in rank. And it's not because I got demoted or ever got in trouble or anything, but just because of decisions I made with trying out for certain units that don't have as many opportunities for promotion. Cooler units, you get to do a cooler job, but less opportunity for promotion. And that's been a hard pill for me to swallow because I'm looking around and seeing all my buddies are like E6s looking at getting their 7, becoming a sergeant first class. And the guys that I taught and that were below me are E5s or E6s, and I'm still just an E4. Things happen. Like, you can't compare your rate of promotion to anybody else's, or the rate in which you get schools to anybody else's. Your path is your path, okay? Just focus on you and don't let that stuff bother you. Another thing with that is deployments. You can't compare your amount of deployments to anybody else's. Deployments are totally luck of the draw, and opportunities at getting in combat are totally luck of the draw. I was raised in a battalion where 98% of the guys had CIBs. They all told us that we're definitely getting CIBs, but they also raised us to believe that we were worthless without CIBs. When I showed up to my unit, we had 6 months until we went to Afghanistan, and so they're really, really hard on us to make sure that we were ready. And then we got there and we didn't really do anything. So for me, someone who really bought into that idea that my worth was based on whether or not I had a kinetic deployment, for a long time, my self-worth in that regard was low because I don't have any real combat experience. And that's something that I've struggled with. And I understand that combat is also totally luck of the draw in the exact same way that getting deployments is. That's not within your control. Only worry about things you can control. My next tip is having that new guy mindset. So if you're new, I don't know if they're hazing or smoking people anymore. I don't know what they're allowed to do anymore on active duty, but we always maintain this new guy mindset where basically your brain is a sponge, right? So you're constantly learning, studying your packets, like your study books, your infantry skills, your battle drills, your weapons knowledge, your your acronyms and stuff, your 5 paragraphs of an op order, your 8 troop leading procedures, stuff like that. I would highly recommend that you really memorize that stuff as fast as possible, because we would get quizzed, and if we got one wrong, everybody got smoked. And then also, whenever they would ask for volunteers for things, if you weren't one of the ones that were up front and got picked for that detail, you were getting smoked. You were getting punished for not being fast enough and not having a sense of urgency about you. And so I would say quickly find that and maintain that throughout your time in the infantry. Maintain a sense of humility and not gaining a sense of ego, and always being willing to learn new ways to do things. Doesn't mean you have to actually practice the things that you are being told, but you can take it, consider the information that you're being taught, and as a leader, you decide what you want to what methods you want to actually use and try for yourself, and which ones you don't want to use. Always be willing to learn new things. That's a big thing. So the next two things are really the big two things that I would recommend for anybody in any infantry unit to focus on. These are the two biggest things that are totally within your control that can absolutely, if you knock these two out early, your career is going to be smooth sailing. And that is getting your EIB and your Ranger tab. It's really annoying and cliche and repetitive, but it is that way for a reason. And not so much because it's actually valuable tactical skills that you can apply, but simply because what it can do for your career. If you have your EIB and or your Ranger tab, you are going to get promoted at a much higher rate than your peers. That's just the way that it is. My best friend Caleb, he was my first guest on the Veteran to Veteran podcast. Shameless plug. If you haven't seen that, you should definitely go check that out. It's on the Veteran, just search in YouTube, the Veteran to Veteran podcast. You'll find it. He showed up to my unit. We had all just gotten back from Afghanistan. Granted, no combat experience, but he didn't have a deployment, but he did have an EIB and a Ranger tab. He got promoted so much faster than the rest of us. It wasn't even funny. And a lot of the guys that he got promoted faster than had more deployment time and also had more time in service, but he still promoted faster because he had those things. He had his Ranger tab and he had his EIB. Now, if you're in the National Guard, hopefully your unit will send you to Ranger School. Hopefully you can get that opportunity and try and get that knocked out. However, for your EIB, I know for our state, the only way that we can do an actual National Guard EIB testing is if we have enough people in the state to be graders. And we don't actually have enough people in my state that are actual badge holders that can be graders for the testing. So we don't really ever get to do it in my National Guard unit for my state. We actually have to do a joint testing with the states around us so that everybody pitches in some graders. That way everybody can send their guys to go test, and that's how we have to do it. However, there is another way that you can do it, and I would highly recommend that you talk to your chain of command about it. The other way that you can go and get your EIB is by finding out, hopefully maybe you have some connections from basic training of guys that went active, get a hold of those guys and ask them if their unit is doing EIB testing or when their unit is doing EIB testing again, and hopefully they know, they can give you an answer. Your unit can actually send you to an active duty base to test with an active duty unit. They have to work out some logistical things. Your unit should know how to do that, but they can do that. My unit has done that with a few of our guys, and I'm constantly talking to guys out at Bragg trying to figure out when their next EIB testing is so that we can get guys down there. I don't have one. I want one. I didn't take it seriously when I was on active duty because all I cared about was the CIB. And because I was raised by guys with CIBs, I was taught that that's all that mattered. EIBs don't matter. CIBs are all that matter. That's not the case. CIBs aren't going to get you promoted the way the EIBs are, okay? Nobody ever accidentally got an EIB, and that's like the difference in the Army's eyes. You went above and beyond to display that you can properly execute these infantry skills, and for whatever reason, that's seen in a higher regard. Go get your EIB. Ranger School is what it is. If you've been in the infantry for any amount of time whatsoever, you have been asked, when are you going to Ranger School? Wouldn't it just be really nice if people would stop asking you that? Especially if you're a private and you have a Ranger tab. You are about to blow your peers out of the water. All the other, you could be an E1, get your Ranger tab. They're probably going to waiver you to E4, and then you're probably going to pick up a team before the other E4s that you just caught up with in rank, if that makes sense. The infantry highly values Ranger School. I would just recommend that you go do it early on in your career. One, so that it's done. People look at you with more respect. You'll pick up rank faster, so your career progression will be highly accelerated. And people will just stop asking you when you're going to go get when you're going to go knock out Ranger School and get your tab. I've been getting asked for 7 years now. It's getting pretty old, and I am also planning on going and trying to get my Ranger tab, but that takes some time to train up, and I work 6 to 7 days a week right now, so I don't have a lot of time for that. So we'll see what happens. The other last little tidbit is just always be volunteering and asking when you can go to other schools. So for me on active duty, I know this is hard for a lot of guys out there, okay? I understand. In the 82nd, they wouldn't send you to air assault school unless you got your Ranger tab, unless you got your EIB, or unless you re-enlisted for it. And that was the only way that you're going to get any extra school. So if you want sniper school, you better either be in a sniper position where hopefully they'll eventually send you, or get your EIB and Ranger tab and barter with your unit. Say, hey, I'll go and try and do this, but I want to get this out of it. That's another thing you can do. Or just constantly be pestering them. And if you're a highly motivated individual that you're doing those things that I talked about earlier with the mindset and having a sense of urgency and always volunteering for things and just being an all-around good dude that's physically fit, you know your job, you will probably get opportunities to go to schools that other people that don't have those things, they'll never get the opportunity to go to it. So on active duty, I never got an opportunity to go to air assault school. They're like, you can re-enlist for it or get your tab, and maybe we'll send you. So it was damn near impossible. And I didn't know hardly anybody in my unit that had air assault school, except guys that were like E7s and above, that were like quad stacked, you know what I mean? But when I got to my guard unit, I pretty much asked them, hey, when can I go to air assault school? And they were like, does December work for you? And I was like, yeah. They were like, all right, yeah, you got a slot. I was like, it was that easy? And they're like, yeah. If you're available and you're willing, we will send you to schools if we can get the slots. And so I got air assault knocked out. Now I'm constantly just pestering them about Pathfinder and Jumpmaster. I'm still waiting to get my 5. Hopefully it happens sooner than later. But as soon as I get my 5, I'm going to try and get to Jumpmaster. And as soon as I can after that, I'm going to try to get to Pathfinder and Mountain School, Mountain Warfare School. The other thing that I would recommend, especially if you're in an airborne unit, this isn't just the 82nd, but any airborne unit, and other units like it as well, it just looks good for you for some reason, Jumpmaster School. If you're in an airborne unit, go to Jumpmaster School. As soon as you get your 5, try to go. Or if you're a corporal, you can still go to Jumpmaster School. Go to Jumpmaster School as soon as possible. Those airborne units freaking love jump masters. Okay, you're going to get tasked out on a lot of jumps, but you'll get your senior rating really fast and all that stuff. But man, I'm telling you, if you have those 3 things, if you have an EIB, a Ranger tab, and you're a jump master, and you're like in the 82nd, you don't understand how much faster your career will accelerate compared to the rest of the people that you came in with. And I know I'm saying, like, don't compare your career trajectory to others, but if you're in the infantry, you're probably kind of competitive and you don't want to be left in the dust. So I get it. And again, just worry about yourself. Worry about your own career. The best thing that's going to happen for you and your family is you getting promoted faster and being able to provide more for your family, right? Taking on more roles and responsibilities. And by doing that, Pathfinder, Ranger School, EIB, your unit will task you out more, yes, but they will also promote you faster, so you're getting paid more, and they'll respect you more, and you'll have credibility and a good reputation. And all in all, I think that's what it comes down to. And that's pretty much all I got to say in this video. Again, to sum everything up, worry about the things that you can control. how eager you are to do these things is all totally within your control, and that's the main point of this video. So hopefully this helps somebody out there. If this helped you, let me know. If you're another infantry guy and you have another tip, let me know down below. Maybe it's something I didn't cover. Maybe another infantry dude who is curious about this stuff might see your tip and maybe you'll help him. And I try to reply to every comment that I get. And if you guys want to like, comment, subscribe, whatever, that whole deal, I'd greatly appreciate that. Now, again, I know I mentioned it earlier, but I'm starting the Veteran to Veteran podcast. The episode is up on the Vet to Vet page. Go check that out. Just search in YouTube, Veteran to Veteran podcast. You'll find episode 1 with my best friend, Caleb Malott. He's actively a Special Forces Green Beret. We don't talk about all the specifics. You know, they got to be all secretive and cool and stuff. But check that out. I'd greatly appreciate it. Going to try and have more episodes coming out soon and try and have a consistent basis of release of episodes. And every episode from here on out should be video and audio as well. So stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.